Welcome back, everybody, to We Know Texas Vino. I am your host, Will, and I have to say, we're in a very peculiar place, and for most of y'all know, my hometown is Breckenridge, Texas, and that's where I'm at right now. It's in Breckenridge, Texas, and we're at a little, I have to say, a very cool, amazing little winery called CC Farms, and I'm here with DR and Andy. Say hi, folks.
Hello.
Hello.
How y'all doing over there?
Real good so far.
Yeah?
Good.
Nervous? I see y'all.
Maybe a
Well,
little.
thank y'all for having me out here. This is absolutely a gorgeous place. Y'all gave me the tour a while ago, and I'll collect that story here from y'all here in just a few moments. Sure. But real quick, before we get started in the show, I want to tell everybody where you can find our podcast. You can find us at weknowtexasvino.vine. You can also, .vine, wine. I haven't had any wine yet, folks, okay? Chill. And then you can also find us on YouTube at We Know Texas Vino, and of course on Facebook and social media at We Know Texas Vino. And then, of course, any podcasting platform, Apple, iPod. Okay, I'll get it right.
Yes, right.
Sorry. You do this enough times, your brain just stops functioning, you know?
Sure, yeah.
But Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, so forth like that. So you're listening to episode 98. Folks, we are almost to the century mark on this podcast. We've been doing this for 3 years now. I cannot believe this. A couple of quick notes right quick. You know that on the 31st of this Saturday, actually when you hear this episode, you will not hear that, so never mind. I won't mention it. So, all right. Well, episode 98, here we are at CC Farms Winery and
Venue Estate.
Venue Estates, yes. I have it written here, but I couldn't get the word out of my mouth.
It's a lot.
So, you know, DR, when I got here, you greeted me. You actually ran into me. Not really, just giving you a hard time, you know. But you told me a story that is absolutely amazing story that you was telling me about this property. So first, we'll step way back before we get into this whole building that we're in. How did you find this property, and what made you decide, of all places in Texas, to come to this one location?
Yeah, we had some basic criteria for the land. We originally were just moving out here to kind of live a quiet, relaxed life, and the winery was not one of those things.
Far from it.
Yeah, that's right. But we wanted to have land that we could do whatever we wanted to with. So we wanted it to kind of be out of the city limits in an unincorporated county land, and obviously not an HOA, anything like that. So
right.
We just didn't want a lot of restrictions on what we were going to do out here.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a few properties that kind of met our criteria, and we were actually in contract in Carbon for a little bit on some land out there. It fell through, and then this one came available, and it's just kind of one of those things that something happens for a reason, right? It always just kind of pulls you where you need to be.
Right.
And so we got into contract on this property, and everything went well, and we pulled our camper down here and fought the scorpions off for a while and stuff like that. So
nice.
Yeah, really our backstory was we lived in Fort Worth, and we were big RVers and campers, and we wanted to get out of the city, so we found this land. It had no power, no water, no sewer, had nothing out here.
Oh, wow. And
where the greenhouse is, right outside these barns, we parked our camper with no power or water in
boondocking.
August.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
Yeah.
A little warm. But we came out here for a weekend right after we bought the land, and we just never went home. And we decided that we fell in love with out here, and then we drank a lot of wine, realizing how much work we had to do.
Nice.
And we were parked right next to these old barns that had no walls on them, and they were terrifying. No floors. There was scary things in them. And one night we had a lot of wine in us, and we're staring at them, and he's saying, "Well, what do we do with these things?" And I said, "Knock them down." And he said, "Let's open a winery." And that's where it started. There was a couple bottles of wine that led to that.
Well, so before you decided to do this, what do y'all do? Like, what is your day job before you did the winery?
Yeah.
Andrew?
So I'm a senior vice president for an aviation company. So I oversee ground handling services for airlines on the western half of the U.S. And my whole life and career has been traveling all the time. So
hey, can we be buddies? I need some.
Except it's funny because now I complain every time I have to go to the airport. I want nothing to do with leaving. So it was kind of actually what this was kind of our goal was to settle and stay. So
yeah. And then Years and years ago, I was a vice president at Bank of America, running a home loans and insurance division, and kind of got tired of the corporate life. So
Wow.
I decided to go into real estate. And so I've been doing real estate. This is my 16th year. So I've been in it a long time. And
Wow.
then we have a bunch of Airbnb properties. So we had a cabin up in Broken Bow, Oklahoma, and then
So we definitely need to be friends now.
yeah. And then several properties in Fort Worth. And we still have several in Fort Worth that we run as Airbnbs. And that's just kind of generally what we do.
Wow, you talk about doing a complete shift in jobs and culture and everything. Holy
Definitely.
cow! You went from ties and suits and all of that to wearing jeans and pullovers. Man, I feel like I'm overdressed now.
No, actually, this is as dressed as we'll go. So
Hey.
we joked about that at our first wedding that we held here. So,
Well, you got to wear what's comfortable for you. You
Yeah.
don't come in here wearing torn up jeans. Well, I mean, if that's what you're okay with, torn up jeans stuff. But I mean, but wear what you're comfortable with.
Sure.
Bring dress what your occasion is going to be, not dress what you want to do.
Right.
Dress for success, I guess.
yeah, that's actually when we started talking about the business and what we wanted this to be. We have a relaxed atmosphere because we want people to come here and just stay. And that's what we're seeing. We have regular guests that come in, and when they come and they sit for 4 hours. That's what we want them to do. We don't want them to come in and leave 20 minutes later because they had a quick bite to eat, had a glass of wine, and left.
Right.
We want them to come, enjoy the experience, try all the wines, see what we have here, see the property, enjoy it. And that's what we're seeing our guests will do. And that was our goal. So
Right.
come in and relax. We'll call and say, do you have a dress code? And we're like, no.
Well, I mean, have clothes on.
Yeah.
Of course, right.
That's best.
Clothes preferred, but
Right.
well, all right. So well, first off, let's talk about some of your wine first, okay? Because one thing I forgot to do this. We always had to do this. We've got to toast the show. I forgot to do that, and so I've only see 5 glasses there, and there's 3 of us.
That's not enough.
We'll get some.
Okay, yeah, I forgot to toast this show, but it's all right. We'll get there. But so you see this barn, you say, hey, you know what? Let's start a winery. So describe this barn, with the walls and everything in detail. What you told me when I got here.
Yeah. These barns are about 120 years old, and all the steel in them were shipped over from England. All of them were actually put together. I think it was almost a kit kind of a style. So they brought the steel over here and put the barns together, and I think these were chicken barns for a long time. That's what they raised in them.
Okay.
Old dirt floor barns, no windows. The same roof is still on them. And so we kind of sat down and figured out our plan as how we wanted to remodel, what we wanted to do with them. We had to pour in the concrete floors.
Right.
All the infrastructure, mechanical is brand new because it didn't have anything. And back to his point earlier, we ourselves had to pull in any of the utilities, right? We didn't
Right.
have water out here. Electricity was not a thing, so we had to bring all of those services in. And we kind of just kept with the style of the barns. We didn't want to whitewash them too much or make them too new.
Right.
So we kept all the bent steel in the roofs and that sort of stuff, and just kind of kept with the style. We added a fireplace and a couple of stone columns to kind of dress it up a little bit.
Right. Well,
yeah.
I'm actually taking the camera right now, and I'm actually panning around, letting people see what it looks like and stuff. Because I'm going to have to say, this is absolutely amazing what you've done here. This is a beautiful winery, and to do it like you said, very minimal financing. It's just you did absolutely a fantastic job. I commend y'all for that quite a bit.
Yeah, we wanted to keep the character. So actually, the windows that are in here, we were riding our ATV one night in the back of the property, and we found them in the woods, just laying, buried. We saw this metal, and we're like, "What is that?" And we're like, "Oh, those windows."
Mm-hmm.
So we actually took them out, and we believe they were actually part of the barn next door, all the way around. But we put them in here as part of it, so they're original to the building and had them repainted and everything. So it was crazy because it was probably a tornado, because they were about a half a mile back behind these barns where we found these windows. So, we wanted to keep as much character, and you could see up top the metal. It's bent over here on this side. We've had the opportunity to meet some of the previous property owner's family. And they told us the story that, oh yeah, that one of those bent columns was actually from a tornado, and oh yeah, the other one, that was actually a tractor hit that. So here I was thinking it was some crazy tornado story. So one was, and the other one was, no, they hit it with a tractor. So, but it was really neat hearing the story. So we wanted to keep it that way.
Right.
We didn't want to fix it and make it look brand new. We wanted to show the character to it.
You know, and there's not a lot of places that do that. In fact, actually, I can tell you one right now off the top of my head that's done the same thing. Way on the other side of by Greenville is a place called Live Happy Lane, and they took their barn from their great grandfather from Oklahoma and brought all that wood to do their tasting room with that. So it wasn't fully built with it, but it was built quite a bit of it. So that's, I mean, when you get to do that, you get to keep parts of history out there, and you get to see what we used to build with. And, you know, honestly, I think the building structures back at that time was a little bit more solid, if you want to say that.
Definitely.
Because, I mean, nowadays our stuff is, you know, you breathe on it wrong and it falls down.
Right.
So you got this amazing taste room. So you also took me to another part of the campus. So that is explain what else you've got on the property and what you've done over there.
Yeah, that building over there, it's just next door. We call it the support barn. So we've got a commercial kitchen in there. We have a full service spa room. And then there are 2 dressing rooms or meeting rooms in the main hall.
So those 2 rooms next door are for when we hold weddings. It's for the parties, the grooms or the brides, for them to be able to get ready, to be able to have a private space. And then if we hold business meetings, places for people to have breakout meetings in a quiet space. And then the full service spa, we have a full service massage therapist that actually works with us. So during the week, even if we're closed as a winery, she's doing massages in here, which is, it's really cool to see that part of the business happening.
I mean, that honestly, when you showed me that, I got all excited. You know, I wanted a massage, but no, I couldn't get one. She's not here.
She's off today.
But I mean, it's amazing that you not only have a winery, but you also have a venue. You also have a little bistro style restaurant. I mean, let me rephrase that: a bistro, not a restaurant, but a bistro. Let's make sure we use the right words here, okay? Because you don't want to be a restaurant. You want to be a winery first and a bistro second. Yeah. You know, and then have a venue as the main umbrella of everything, which is absolutely amazing. Now, folks, when you drive into the property, absolutely gorgeous. In fact, is that the first house I saw up there? Is that where y'all live at? Or is that an Airbnb, or is that something else?
Yeah, we've got it's an Airbnb now. It's called the Prairie House.
Okay.
And it's just a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. It had no windows when we got here. The people who lived in it before almost just walked out the door, and they left all of their furniture in place. There's a big piano in there, and just left. So over time, the windows, they're all wood, so they rotted out, and then critters took up housing in there, and he wanted to tear that down too, but I can't do that.
I wanted to. So we think it was last occupied in the 70s, because if you remember, you used to write checks and your bank would mail them back to you, the canceled checks, and we found boxes of canceled checks from the 70s.
Wow.
So we think that was the last time it was occupied. And the piano, it was occupied because the piano had things living in it.
Okay.
There was a raccoon family, and
nice.
we displaced some animals while we were cleaning it out.
Eviction notice is served.
Yeah. But we took that structure down to the studs because it was painted with lead-based paint, and we had to do...
Oh, come on. That's the good stuff.
Right. So we got our masks on and totally did an abatement on it down to the studs and redid it again.
Wow.
So it's a guest favorite for sure. People love coming out here and staying there.
Now, I have to ask, the piano, what kind of piano was it? Was it just like an upright piano? Was it a baby grand? Okay.
It was an upright piano that was extremely heavy.
Yeah.
Like they had that whole cast iron steel block or whatever on the inside.
Really?
And
You kept that, right?
no, it was ruined from weather.
But, oh, man.
I know, yeah. And we were a little bit overwhelmed with that project that we pulled it out with the tractor because it was just the 2 of us. So
Wow.
it was way too heavy for us to move on our own. And so there was some damage to it then, but we just, unfortunately, it didn't make it. So
Yeah. And we, that house, we kept the same floor plan.
Right.
So think of 1940. We tell people it's a 2-bedroom guest house, and it's the original floor plan from 1940. So yes, the shower is 2 feet by 2 feet. It is not a gigantic shower, and people enjoy it, but it's the original floor plan.
Yeah.
So, the bedrooms, think of bedrooms, back 40, 50 years, they were small.
Right.
And it's kept the character. It's all been completely redone, but they're small bedrooms because that's your bedrooms back then just had the bed.
Yeah,
That was it.
and it was only meant to be in there for sleep and then get out and go do your day.
Yep.
Right.
Because you worked on the fields and you worked on the tractor and all that kind of stuff. So you didn't spend your day in the bedroom. We didn't have nap times like we do nowadays.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no closets in the bedrooms. It's just a central closet that supports the whole house. So, but it's really cute. It's a
And it was neat hearing the history because the family that had come by and kind of they came to see what we had done here too because they've heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
That house up front was actually moved here 50, 60 years ago.
Okay.
It was actually moved here from another property, and that was actually a renter's house. There was another house up front that the owners that owned this land had, and they burned it down. There was a whole story, and there was a fire. So there is a foundation to another house up top too.
Wow.
But there's just grass over it now. But it's really interesting hearing the story. So it really was like the guest house back then as well. So we call it the Prairie House or our guest house that we rent out for guests to come in, and people enjoy it because they go up there and then they come down here, get a couple bottles of wine, and then walk up there and sit on the deck and stare at it. So
that is absolutely amazing story. See, this is why I do this. I love hearing these stories. Now, with that being said, are y'all thinking about doing other little Airbnbs like that out here as well?
Yeah, we have a glamping site right now that's a luxury fifth wheel camper that's on the other side of our property, and it's a pretty big one. People really like staying there, but we eventually, we'll probably put some like tiny homes out here because we've got 50 acres, so we've got plenty of room to put it on. So
yeah, you can even do like a little RV park out here.
Sure,
there's a couple wineries out there that have little RV parks on their property, and they do harvest host, and people come out here and park, and you can let them do boondocking and let them come out here and get wine and stay the night and head out.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
have a friend that they just redid their vintage Airstream, and they boondocked out here not too long ago and just had a ball. It was great.
I think I've been kind of spoiled. I used to tent camp all the time, especially out here at Hubbard Lake. Okay.
Yep.
And the last time I went tent camping, I was in the middle of a tornado.
Oh my!
And I said, no more. So I went and bought an RV literally like 2 months later.
Yeah.
So, man, that is such an amazing story about what y'all found here. I love that y'all are taking what you found on the property and repurposing it back for something else for your winery. So, y'all find any other surprises out here on the property that y'all want to do stuff with? I mean, you got 50 acres. Have you been all over the 50 acres?
Oh yeah.
We've been over a majority of the acreage. We found some other ponds that we didn't know existed. Right, we have two main ponds here, so we found some other water bodies, which is pretty cool. There were a bunch of abandoned crashed old cars out here.
Okay.
That we had to get rid of. So every now and then, when we're in the field, we'll find like a half of a car or something like, or steering wheel or like a odometer or something,
Okay.
just interesting stuff. So
That's interesting. That's fascinating.
yeah.
Well, so now we get this. We got the story about your winery like that. So how did y'all get into wine? What was the pull to get into wine, which brought you into the winery?
I've always been kind of a wino ever since I was, I guess, drinking age, or maybe even before that. I don't know. But
We'll keep that on the Dello.
that's right. Right. And so I went through the same exercise as him because he was not a wine drinker before meeting me. I don't think, were you?
I drank Moscato.
Strawberry Hill,
Yes.
Thunderbird.
That was about it.
Yeah, and he would describe wines as sweet, and those words that are kind of no words in the wine industry.
Actually, our Texas white wine blend, when we were down with our producer, who's down in Comfort, Texas, they do the crush for us. We were meeting with them, and I described it as a sweet wine, and the manager of the business down there, she didn't speak to me for about 6 months.
Yeah, their face went completely deadpan. And they were not thrilled.
I very much offended them, so I've learned my lesson about that.
So I like to tell you, I'm going to tell you a little story real quick. So working in the winery, I learned to not drink sweet wines anymore. So at the winery, when somebody says, well, what is your sweetest wine? I was like, well, I like to say I'm a sweet guy, but not a sweet guy.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I can see why you do that. But in a business sense, You got those people that do want sweet wines.
Sure.
Yes.
And you need to be able to cater to them. You may not like them, you may not drink them, but you need to cater to them.
Right.
So,
Yeah. And that's actually how our white wine blend kind of came about, because we wanted something that was kind of sweeter on the palate, that people that don't normally drink wine could tolerate and enjoy.
right.
And it's a favorite, I think. So
Yeah.
It's awesome. So, I've noticed that all your wines that you have is 100% Texas.
that's right.
Love that idea. Love that. I mean, I love having a winery that's 100% Texas. Now, I'm going to ask, you weren't 100% you weren't a Texas wine drinker prior to this, correct?
No, yeah. Most of the wines that we preferred were coming from California. There's actually a winery that we really like in California. You can talk about it.
Yeah,
Visa Tweet.
Visa Tweet out in Napa. So we love them. They're actually an inspiration for us. But part of the reason why we wanted to be Texas-based wine, because we have a lot of pride in Texas. We have a lot of pride for what we do here. And out in Breckenridge and talking to our community, when we say we're Texas-based, you see people actually, they take pride in that, right?
They light up.
Breckenridge, we have a gift shop with some local items, and the things that sell are the Buckaroos, which is the high school. Those are the things, they take pride in everything, right? So it was a pride thing for us that we wanted to be Texas based. So when we started doing our research, I was like, this is Texas. Outside of Fredericksburg, there's not going to be grapes, or come on. And then we started learning, because actually our white grapes, they come out near Amarillo and Lubbock and out in that area, out on the high plains. So we learned, and we were able to go out and explore those areas and see the grapes that were out there. And then obviously the reds down in Fredericksburg is different climates. But it was really interesting kind of switching that and becoming all Texas-based. So it was really a pride-driven thing, and we're proud of that.
Right.
And we're big on that. Being a small business, we're a Texas-based small business. We wanted to be able to tell everybody, and even our producer knows when we were looking for our grapes. She joked, because she goes, I know you don't want grapes from California.
And we're like, absolutely not.
No, we don't.
They definitely tried to pitch that to us several times, but even at a discounted tonnage rate, right? And we were like, we're not interested in. It's really not about the money for us. It's a passion project. And
Right.
we want to do it right. We
Right.
want it to be excellent, and just have a really nice product that we're presenting
Right.
to our people, and proud of it too.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely amazing that y'all do that. And you literally turn down foreign grapes. Okay, notice I said the word foreign. Okay?
Yeah.
We did.
But, okay, so tell everybody what you've got right now. So you've got a couple bottles sitting in front of us. What do you have right now?
Yeah, we have 5 wines that we produce under our Reserve Collection labels, and we do our custom crush down in Comfort, Texas. And so we have 2 whites, a rosé, and 2 reds, and you can go through the...
Yeah. So the 2 whites, 2 reds, and the rosé. So we have the Texas white wine, which is on the sweeter side. But it's
No
not a
judgment.
sweet wine. So it's funny because when DR and I worked the business, and this is our infant, right? So we handhold the business and working. So I work more on the dining room side, and he works more on the kitchen side. So I describe, this is the way it goes from sweeter to drier, right? And our guests, they appreciate that. So the Texas white wine, it's a blend. Then we have the Picpoul Blanc, which is from the Picpoul grape, Tannet Rosé. Then we have Tempranillo, and then we also have a Cabernet Sauvignon. The Tempranillo is by far my favorite.
Yeah.
People make fun of me because I call it smooth and buttery. You would understand what I'm saying. I had a guest yesterday who is a very clear wine connoisseur, and she's like, that's a smooth and buttery wine. And I was like, I'm not the only one that says that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The one thing I have to say about when it comes to drinking wine, I tell a lot of people, especially when they're learning about drinking wine, there is no such thing as a wrong palate.
Yeah.
It's what you taste is what that grape tastes. So, when you say smooth and buttery, that's what you're getting.
Yeah.
That's what you feel like your palate is. So there's no such thing as a wrong palate.
Yeah.
And I do take pride in our psalms, especially one of my friends who's a psalm female. She's a great psalm, and man, she can pick out every little notes off of that. And I'm like, okay, I get a little black pepper, maybe a little black tar, maybe a little cigar out of this, but that's about as far as I can get out of this.
Right.
But I mean, again, there is no right or wrong answers to wine. You enjoy it the way you want to, and whatever you taste is what you taste.
Yeah, and your palate is something. I mean, it changes, right? So.
Oh yeah.
As you grow and kind of try more wines, you kind of you just kind of hone your skill there.
Yep.
And it's kind of the same thing, when you're a kid, you eat different things than you eat. He's actually eating vegetables now that he's an adult.
I was thinking he just started eating vegetables yesterday.
Yeah, right. So, but we're really proud of these. We also kind of tied our branding in. It's obviously CC Farms Reserve Collection, but there's an image on every single one of our bottles, and those tie into something that you find here on the property. So,
and that's where I was fixing to ask.
Yeah.
Where did the image? So first off, how did you come up with CC Farms?
CC Farms is our initials.
Okay.
So my last name is Couch, and his last name is Chevalier. Yep. He's from New York. He's a Yankee, but they say
We won't judge you.
Chevalier, but the proper pronunciation is Chevalier. So
Chevalier.
yeah.
Okay.
So CC Farms
Gotcha.
came out of that.
Okay, and then you said each image on the bottle is something that you found on the property.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
rattlesnakes.
Yep, we've got a little
Cactus.
sidewinder there, the Baja cactus on our Tannet Rosé. It's a beautiful bloom that comes out this actually time of year on our cactus out in the field. These are some native Texas birds on our Picpoul Blanc, and then this white wine blend it's called Wildflower, and you see these all out in the field. So
Those are the ones with the little white flowers on top of it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So and then your Crimson Sky.
Crimson Sky is just it's the sunset out here is the most amazing thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Sometimes for sure.
Yeah, so directly out these windows is directly west.
Right.
So we have guests that'll come and sit on the patio at night, and the sunset, and you would know, being from Breckenridge, out here, the sunset is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, it is.
So we have folks that'll actually come out here and they joke because they're like, I'll have the Crimson Sky, and they sit outside and watch the sunset. So it's beautiful out there.
One thing I love about wine, okay, and this is even happening with my stuff that I'm working on right now, is that you're telling a story not only with the label, but you're telling a story with that bottle of wine. And again, that's why I do this podcast, because I want to know who you are, and knowing who you are tells us the story about that bottle and where that bottle came from. And that is what I love to do here.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to hear that you've taken what you found on this property and you've thrown it on the bottle, and you indicated it by the taste. Hey, this tastes like whatever, and then you put it out there. That is absolutely amazing, and I commend y'all for doing that, because it's something you just don't wake up one day and say, hey, you know what, I felt like drinking some Wildflower here, and you're like, okay, what does it remind me of? So it's awesome. I like that. I like y'all's story.
And we wanted to, I tell him all the time on the kitchen side, you kind of eat with your eyes too. You also taste with your eyes. You drink with your eyes.
Yep.
So we want everything to be beautiful and to tell a story from the very beginning. So even before you taste the wine, we're giving you a story just looking at the bottle before we even pop the cork.
See, that's amazing. You don't pop the cork, by the way.
Okay.
You gently pull it out.
That's true.
Unless someone's having a bad day, then you pop it out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Sorry. Little side swap. This is what we do on the show here. I actually was reading in Wine Folly. If you've not read it, check it out. It's a great book. But it says some wine etiquette. One of them is you don't pop a cork.
Uh-huh.
You pull the cork silently. But if someone's having a bad day, you pop the cork
There
to make
you
them
go.
happy.
Oh,
I didn't even know that. It's
I like that.
I must be having a bad day all the time.
dadgummit, pop. Hey, I'm having a better day.
That's right.
So, all right. So now you got your wines going on here. So I know that y'all are talking about doing y'all's own little vineyard out here. So talk about that. What y'all got going on with that?
Yeah, so we have 5 acres that we've allocated up top of our property that we're going to be planting in Picpoul grapes and probably the Tempranillo grapes for our production. And each acre, I think, makes, 4 tons of grapes when it's in its maturity, right?
Right.
So it'll probably take us we'll start our infrastructure in the fall, and then after we get our plants planted, our vines, it takes 2 or 3 years before you start getting your harvest. And there's actually, it's a little bit disturbing, but you get your vines in, you make them all pretty, you're raising them like they're your children, and then you take a knife to them and hack them up so that you.
If you want me to, I got I got some vineyard clippers in the truck right now, so you can get used to it right quick.
Yeah, we've got a viticulturist that we work with that's helping us with our design. He's like, it's the most disturbing process because, you've got these beautiful plants that you're basically having to prune off and make them look like not good for them to be able to go ahead and push through and produce. So,
I in my process of learning to become a winemaker and working in a vineyard and stuff, I worked at Arcade up in St. Joe. And so getting out there and looking at the vines, and it looked like a 5-year-old child with all the hair just all over the place, And so you get out there and you kind of clip it all up and stuff, and you prune it all down. And then next thing you know, when you're done, you look at it and you're like, man, this is really good looking. Yeah. And at first it is kind of hard to go out there and do this because you're trying to get something. But the first season, you got to get that root established. You got to get it going, and then when you get that good root going, then you can get the vines going, and that's where the good stuff comes from. It's getting solid root foundation. And I know that your viticulturist that you're working with has probably already told you that.
Yep.
Root foundation is the foundation of everything.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. But so you got Picpoul Blanc, and you said you're doing Tempranillo out there.
We're gonna do some Tempranillo grapes.
So you're doing. You said 4 acres.
Oh, we got 5 acres.
5 acres.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have your white is not gonna produce as much as your reds.
Right.
So good luck on that one.
Yeah.
They do have harvest parties. Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know how well that'll work out here yet.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see. So are y'all looking to expand anything outside of that, just the 5 acres, or y'all want to do something bigger? Or is that just 5 acres? All you want to do? That's all you want to?
Yeah, I think that's just kind of a test. So with that, we're gonna tiptoe into the water and see kind of how we do with that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've heard, but there was kind of an overgrowth of wine grape producers for a while, and so the market has slumped a little bit.
Yep.
Prices, they're not getting as much per ton as they used to because it's just kind of saturated.
Right.
We still want to do that because I love growing things, and also it'd be beautiful for our wedding photos and stuff like that. So it's just kind of a two-prong thing. We're really interested in that side of it, but we wanted to start small, just to kind of see how we fare.
And I'm not going to lie, working in the vineyard is very soothing, if you want to call it that. Sitting out there and you're in your own world, got your AirPods in, you're listening to your own little music, you're not listening to talking to anybody, and you're clipping the vines and you're taking your anger out from the rest of the week.
Sure, yeah.
And they're not saying anything to you, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're watching what you're out there clipping, and you're pruning, and you're snipping, and you're seeing your growth. And the next thing you know, you've got all these amazing grapes growing out there. Yeah. So I can't wait to see that, honestly.
Yeah. And the other part about having a vineyard is it's almost a full-time job. Like you're working nonstop 9 months out of the year, and then you have a little break, right?
Yes.
For your dormant season. So we're obviously not staffed for that yet. So we're just slow growing and just kind of doing what we can when we can. So
nice.
And we're obviously being a small business and growing. We started with 1 full-time employee, and we've grown to a staff of 7 total. So and we're actually hiring for another position. So we're organically growing. Obviously, I described the business as our baby. A month ago, we opened just over 45 days ago. So then it was this toddler, not even newborn, who we had to handhold everything, and now we're sitting here and I'm watching food come out of the kitchen out of my left eye, and I know it's okay. So it's the infant, right?
Right.
We're really passionate about it, so we don't want to grow too big too quick. I would love to have 500 acres of grapevines, and we produce here right away, and this be 3 times the size. But we want it to organically grow, but we want to do it right. Because what we don't want to lose sight of is we want our guests to come in. We want them to sit here and enjoy the experience for a couple hours and get the experience. So our serving staff, before they started, we spent an entire evening drinking the wine.
Darn.
But we did it because we wanted them to taste everything, all the food, all the wine, and we wanted them to learn the whole experience. Because when we have the regulars that they don't care about the wine story, they just want to come in and drink wine.
Right.
But then we have folks that really want to come in and learn the story, kind of like we're talking about, and our entire staff, we wanted them to learn it. So we don't want to go hire 25 people today and have to teach all of them that.
Right.
We want to grow. So actually yesterday we started a new employee who spent the entire day with DR and myself learning all about us and learning all about the wines and everything, because we don't want someone this isn't just a job.
Mm-hmm.
We want them to be passionate about what they do. And, our servers know a quiet day where we have only, 5 tables come in and 5 tables that stay 4 hours is a great day for us, because that means they're enjoying it. That's what we want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't really want to take our finger off of the needle too much.
Right.
So we've only been open for 45 days, so we're still learning quite a lot. But our staff is also kind of coming up with us as well.
Right.
So eventually, we do kind of want to push back a little bit and go into a more managerial roles, right, to oversee things. But right now, him and I are in the weeds in every aspect of what we do here, because we want it to be perfect. We want your time here to be beautiful. We want the barns to be beautiful. We want our food to look beautiful, and we want our servers to serve correctly and give you the education on our wines and that sort of stuff, because it is a story. So
Right.
yeah.
I'm going to tell you one thing that helps a lot of people out, and I'm just going to tell you this from my personal experience, is if they know the stories about Texas wine and where things grow and know the history about the grapes and stuff like that. Because I know when people come into the tasting room where I'm working at, and I explain what Pic Pol Blanc is and what it means in English, and then explain what it's supposed to taste like and that kind of stuff, people eat that up because they want to know more about that wine.
Sure.
Or like Tempranillo. Tempranillo, if you lay out a world map and you see Texas and Spain, we lay on the same parallel. So Texas grows great Tempranillo. You tell them little facts about like that left and right, and people eat that stuff up. And the more they eat it up, guess what they're doing? They're drinking wine while they're doing it.
course.
And then while they're drinking that wine, they're buying more bottles.
Well, it's actually one of the things that we have with the pride of being Texas-based wine is people always want to know where the grapes come from. And, so the Tanit Rosé, for example, those grapes come from Mason, Texas, which is 130 miles directly south of here. And when we tell guests that and can actually say where the grapes come from, they're this is awesome. I want some more of this. It's what people want to hear. And
Right.
we're seeing it the most is where do they come from?
Right.
And we like that because we take pride in being Texas-based. But we have a lot of folks that can relate. And, we talk about Mason, Texas is the closest one, closest grapes to our venue here. And guests I know where that is. My family's from there. I've been down there. I drove through there last week. So it's really cool when people, relate to that and then they want to actually taste it. So to your point, that's exactly it. That's what it really ties people in.
Yeah.
And then they drink it.
Yeah. Now, talking about this, I do see you have an AVA map sitting right in front of you, which you do know that Mason just got their first AVA there, right? Just like literally, it was just approved like a couple weeks ago, which is pretty awesome. Now they're waiting for one more fixing to get approved in there also. So they have, which is amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
And actually, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the gentleman about the name Don Pullman. He just recently passed away. I actually was the last person to do an interview with him. But he actually helped get Mason on the map for grape growing.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
he was
That's awesome.
he was known as the father of grape growing there in Mason, Texas.
Nice.
So so he had a lot of stories. He was actually on Top Shelf or something like that too.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was great guy, great stories. We'll talk after that because there is one person you have to go check out there and get his stories. Okay.
Very nice.
So y'all really go all out in training y'all's employees about your CC Farm brands.
Yep.
That is amazing. Now, I also see that right next to it, y'all have some other stuff. Tell me what you got next to it as well.
Yeah, so we've kind of got our fingers in everything, but we have, before we moved here, we had a seasoning business that we were working on. So we do...
If you want to actually pick it up and hold it
Sure.
right in front of that camera out there.
Let's see, this one is, which one is this? This is our Cowtown All-Purpose
Okay.
seasoning. So it's a you put this on literally everything seasoning. I got this recipe from my grandpa, my great-grandpa. He used to make this in huge buckets, and everybody in the town would just wipe them out as soon as he was done with his batches.
Huge buckets, huh?
Yeah, so I took his recipe and I took out all of the stuff that I didn't agree with. Like, I think they put accent flavoring, seasoning in it, and meat tenderizer and stuff like that. Those
Okay.
things that were common back then that you shouldn't probably be eating these days. So.
Oh, come on, that's the good stuff.
I know, right? So stripped all that out there. The flavor profile is the same. It's amazing. We make big batches of this too, and people fight over it. So we'll have
Nice.
people call us and be mad because we're out of it, that sort
Wow.
of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for example, for Mother's Day, so we have the winery, but we do special events. So for Mother's Day, we held a private event by reservation only, and we brought a chef in, a professional chef, to join our staff, and we did a nice Mother's Day menu, and it was a full meal. We were a restaurant that day,
Right.
Where typically we're just a bistro with limited items that pair to the wines. So wine was pouring like crazy all day, but the featured menu item was filet and lobster, and the seasoning on the filet was the all-purpose seasoning.
How did I miss that? I want to be a mother. Come on.
But the seasoning was the all-purpose seasoning, and we had guests asking, what is this seasoning? It's really good. So we sold out that day of the seasoning, and
Wow.
then we had guests calling and yelling at us because we were out. So we've now restocked. But it's complemented part of our story because it's what we're using on the food that's coming out of the bistro.
Right.
Is the seasonings we're using, and when people ask about it and they like it, well, we have it for sale too, of course, but it's been just part of the story of what we're doing here, because our kitchen is a scratch kitchen.
Right.
There's nothing that's frozen that comes, from a distributor. Everything is made homemade, and cooked that way. So it's nice when people say, "Wow, what is that flavor? Where did that come from?" Because it's not, "Oh yeah, it was store bought."
Yeah, you can't get it at Walmart or wherever. It's very special, very specific to our brand.
That is, and so you got the all-purpose seasoning, and then what's right next to it? I can't.
Yeah, we have a south of the border sweet taco seasoning, so it's got a lot more cumin in it, and it's pretty good. And then we do this one is a cowboy salt. It's a smoked sea salt with rosemary, and then we do a cowgirl salt that has a little bit of lavender in it. It's not a smoked salt, but it's a pink Himalayan salt. It's really good.
And then I also know y'all have some like candles and different little fragrances that you put in the air.
Yeah, so we have a little gift shop and boutique here, and what we do is we support local businesses. So Rustic Charm candles, they're actually very popular in Texas. They're actually in Cavender's and some pretty big chain stores, but they're a local business. They're from Breckenridge. So we feature their full line here as well.
Nice.
So we have all their candles, their fragrances, and DR's been actually working with them to make a custom scent for the CC Farms.
Right, so we're doing a custom scent. It's called the Winemaker's Blend. It's really spicy, and it's kind of an all-season kind of a scent. But we're going to be doing room sprays and candles under our label too. So.
Well, when you get that ready to go, let me know, and I'll come out here and get one right quick, and I'll test it for y'all.
We'll send you one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So first off, I'm not going to say this is a one-stop shop, but I mean, it sounds like you got things together that you want people to come out here and spend the day, not only drinking your wine, but also eating your food. And then also coming home, taking home not only wine, but also a little bit of what y'all cook with as well. And that is absolutely amazing because there's not too many wineries that do that right now. Because everybody's trying to, right now with the economy the way it is, everybody's trying to figure out how can we get people in our door to get our product what we like and get them to go home so they can come back again. And y'all have done it. I think y'all have done a great job of that so far.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all been open, 45 days? And from what y'all have told me, y'all have had some very, very successful days.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have those few days that are slumps, but for the most part, from what y'all have told me, y'all have had some very amazing days out here.
And it keeps growing. The more people know about us and hear about us, they come out. And so every Friday and Saturday, it's always a little bit busier. And it's organic growth.
Right.
We just started doing some marketing with a professional marketing company, but up until now, we haven't done any of that stuff. It's all kind of been word of mouth.
And sometimes the word of mouth is also the best marketing you can get out there. But also it could be the worst marketing also.
Yeah.
That's true.
But go ahead.
No, I was just say Friday night. So I'm the numbers guy behind the scenes. So I'm always yelling at you.
I see that.
Friday over Friday has been better. This is good. This is what I want to see. So I put all the charts in front of them and everything. But Friday night, I was talking to a couple guests, and there was a party that came out from Fort Worth.
Really?
So we said, we're like,
Oh, wait a minute. I know who that is.
oh,
I do know who that is.
okay.
Yeah, she actually posted, and I actually posted on her
Oh, no way.
post. Yeah.
See?
I went to high school with her.
Nice.
nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, this party came out from Fort Worth, and I said, why are you here? Like, what brought you 2 hours west of the Metroplex and an hour and a half from Fort Worth? And they're like, well, we've seen everything on Facebook, and we wanted to come try it out. And they were here for 4 hours.
Yeah.
They ate the food, they tried all the wines, they did a sampling, and they took a couple bottles home with them. And when they left, it was really nice to hear because they're like, we're going to do this every month. this was awesome. It was a beautiful drive out here. We really enjoyed it. And me, for my day job, I drive to the Metroplex every week. I'm over the drive. But they're like, no, it was a beautiful drive. We really enjoyed it. And we're bringing more friends next time. So it was really nice to hear that because, we want to cater to the local area. We want folks to come out here because Breckenridge is beautiful. It's a beautiful area. It's if you're from here, I feel that way. But
in the country, it is.
In July and August. But it's beautiful country out here.
It is. It really is.
And you don't see that in the Metroplex. So it's
Yeah.
nice having people want to come out here and stay and see it. So
Yeah.
And there's some inherent growth from the Metroplex because they're running out of room
Yes.
for real estate reasons, right? So
Yeah.
everything is really kind of starting to move west anyway. So we see a lot of people coming down here from Keller and just exploring the area really
Right.
to kind of see what is out here. And they're like, we kind of want to stay. So
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, if they can give me a couple of nice little restaurants out here, a little shopping mall out here, maybe a Target.
Target.
we miss Target.
We miss Target.
But there actually is Breckenridge, the Economic Development Association. They're doing a lot to rehab. There's actually a new Italian restaurant opening this Saturday.
Oh, really?
In Breckenridge, yeah. Saguto
Really?
Wine and Brews. So,
Yeah.
and they're great people. So there's a lot of growth happening here. And another restaurant, Neary's Wine or Neary's.
Yeah,
Courtyard
Neary's just opened up. Yeah.
And they're from Graham.
Yep.
Yeah. And they've got a couple locations. So there's growth happening here,
Right.
which has been really nice to see, even since we moved out here. It's nice to see it growing and not shrinking
Right.
as we're trying to open a business.
And we also really want to kind of support local. So we try to partner with like Soggy Dog. It's the Italian place that's going in town, and Rustic Charms. We want to kind of shop local and kind of build that market.
Right.
When you go into town, you just have a bunch of big box stores to choose from.
Right.
And so that kind of limits your what is offered, I guess, right? So,
yeah. Well, the one thing I do miss about small town is that it's always not in a hurry.
right.
Yep.
We're in town. We're like, get out of my way, honk, 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 get out of my way. You're taking too long to get out of my way so I can get to my office, which, even though it says on the map, it says 5 miles away, it takes you 30 minutes to get there.
That's right. Yeah.
Here, your office is the pasture.
Yeah.
Or it's the oil field or wherever, that is the one aspect that I do miss a lot about the small town, but having the conveniences of the big stores, hey, you want to go shopping at the big mall, let's go. We don't have to spend like 3 hours in the car to go do it,
Right.
So there are some things that I miss. And I love that y'all came out here and started this and helped bring not only a winery to Breckenridge, but a Texas winery to bring more knowledge to Texas wines.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that a lot.
For sure. Definitely.
So is there anything else y'all want to talk about? I mean, I know you brought a notebook out here and it looks like a clipboard.
Oh, yeah. So, no, yeah. So, this is a lot of notes. But,
Okay.
So, basically, we have the bistro here also. It's
I will have to say, though, I did see on the menu when I walked in here,
Yeah.
it was, what is it, pork bellies and pimento cheese.
yeah, that's right.
I'm going to have to try that before I leave, just so
Pretty
y'all know
good
that.
stuff. Yeah. So everything, they're small plates. They're all from scratch. So nothing is frozen. We do everything in house here. But a lot of the things that are on our menu mean something to us.
Okay,
So he calls me a chef. I am not. I'm a cook because I do not have any classic training, any of that sort of stuff. I grew up standing in the kitchen behind my cute little grandma.
Okay.
And she cooked for 1 million people every day. And so a lot of these recipes that are in here are straight from her.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's got a heartfelt to it. Okay.
That's right. So we've got her biscuits. We've got some buttermilk biscuits that are on here that are fantastic. And we do a charcuterie board that's amazing. So we do 2 sizes. There's a huge one that's really impressive. People order it just if they're going to show off, generally.
I got money.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I got paid.
Yeah. But the board fills the whole table, and it's nothing but hand-picked cheeses and imported meats and that sort of stuff. So it's really a treat. It's not something that you can get here. It's not even something you can get in Fort Worth. Like,
Right.
these things are imported, and they're all really, really tasty. So
Interesting.
Yeah, and we have everything we have pairs with wine. So, it's more bistro style being we have a dip. Every week we do a weekly special that's different. So that's where, we see it because we are a scratch kitchen. Some folks really want us to be more restaurant and have more, hearty meals. We don't really want to go that direction.
Right.
We want to, complement the wine, not the wine complement the food. So, with that being said, we do a special every week, and people come for the special because a lot of our guests that are regulars have tried everything on the menu, and now every week they come for the special to see what it is. So
Nice.
This week is the pork belly and pimento cheese. Week before was a Texas cowboy meatball, which is a half-pound meatball. We've tried all different, but everything that complements to wine. It's not a huge meal. It's not a full plate. A side mac and cheese, which was, I think, probably our most popular. But then, dipping oils and trying different, variety of oils and breads. So a lot of folks they come out just to try the specials because they've tried everything on the menu, which is what we want, that's fine.
And all of our foods that we serve kind of go back and they all complement the wine. So it's not going to be a contradiction of flavors. They're all going to really go well together. And you can come out here and get really full. Like you can order several things on the menu and people leave full. So we have small plates, right? But there's plenty of food. So.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to try some because I am going to eat. I have not eaten all day.
Okay. Well, you're in for a treat. So,
so I am excited about that. I'm excited about try some wine out here. I will have to say, y'all have got something amazing out here. Absolutely amazing. And I've seen some really nice wineries in Texas already. And just when I think that, hey, man, these winemakers has got it figured out, I get to another winery and I look at it and I'm like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. And is that fourth time I said amazing?
Yeah. We like that word. So.
But I mean, it's beautiful, folks. Y'all need to come out here and check this place out. Yes, it's an hour and a half drive from Breckenridge, but it's a worth hour and a half drive. In fact, actually, we were just talking about this the other day. Any of the wineries from Dallas-Fort Worth area, you have to drive a minimum of an hour drive to get to some good wineries. The only one that's outside of that is Dove Ridge, which is like 30 minutes from downtown Fort Worth. Sure. But, you got Lost Oak that is in Burleson, on the south side of Burleson, which is, I think, 45 minutes to an hour drive, depends on what time of the day you picked up. You got Lonesome Vine, which is an hour and 15 minutes. You've got everything around Valley View up there. That's a 45, 50-minute drive. And then, of course, anything around St. Joe is an hour and a half drive. And then if you want to go anywhere south, it's still another hour and a half drive.
Sure.
So why not come out here?
Yeah. And we go to Fredericksburg a lot, and Wimberley, the Hill Country down there, because we've got several wineries that we love down there. But it's 3 hour drive.
Right.
So.
Okay, so we're going to do this now. So when you go to Fredericksburg, what are your favorite wineries to go to down there?
That's all you. I follow you.
So I think our favorite is Flat Creek Winery down there.
By far.
They have the grounds are beautiful. The buildings are gorgeous. They're old too. They're kind of doing the same thing that we're doing, kind of keeping the style. But their grounds are amazing. You can sit out there, and also the restaurant is some of the best food we've ever eaten in our lives.
Okay.
And it's kind of the same situation. I think that's actually the reason that we decided to do this is because Flat Creek. So
see, I knew there's inspiration somewhere.
They were an inspiration. Flat Creek has an awesome bistro. They have great wines there, and then of course Bending Branch down in Comfort.
Bending Branch is amazing too.
Of course, we work with them now, but they really inspired us on kind of where we were and what to do, and have also guided us a lot.
I knew the inspiration came from somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to get out.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. And that's awesome that you get inspiration from other people, because you take ideas from here and here and here and here, and you pull it together, and this is what brings your dreams and your aspirations all together, and this is what you get. So you get CC Farms.
Yeah, and actually, we've had several people ask us, why are you so open about where your ideas are coming from, or where your inspirations are, or working with other people that are kind of in your same industry. This is a passion project for us, and we love this, and we are confident in what we're delivering. That we don't feel like we have any competition. We have friends in our same industry.
So I want to tell you a little story. Up in Whitesboro, it's a little vineyard up there called Breaking Bud. Get to know Rusty. Rusty will be your good friend. Okay, and we had a show with him, and he says the wine industry in Texas is not a competition; it's a cooperation. You cooperate with each other, but you're still in competition with each other. Great word. I just coined. He coined it. He trademarked it. I can't do anything with it. But I mean, I'm going to tell you also from experience watching this. and I don't know if y'all have actually seen this, but the Texas wine industry treats you like family. Okay, good example. I was telling y'all earlier about Red River Winery up there. About 2 years ago, her vineyard got hit with a tornado, and all the wineries in that area, all the vineyards pulled together to come pull all her vines back up and staked them up just to get her through harvest. And tell me what other industry in this world will do that?
Right.
I mean, there's not one out there. I mean, there might be one or two out there, but for the most part, not even California does that. I mean, unless you're like in Paso where it's smaller mom and pop ones, but in California wine industries, you don't find that. If your vineyards go down, great, we're going to burn them for you.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
But I mean, you're in for a treat. Unfortunately, there's not a vineyard within 100 miles of y'all here, 200 miles.
Yeah.
I mean, Brady is the closest one for y'all, maybe.
Yeah.
So if you have trouble, you'll have somebody that can help you out. So again, I do commend on what y'all have done here. Y'all have got a beautiful, beautiful place, and I honestly, I may have to start making a trip to Breckenridge.
Yeah. Come back home.
Shh.
Right.
Well, is there anything else y'all want to talk about? I mean, did we cover everything, or is there something else that you want to talk about?
I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's back on the kind of kitchen side or the food side. So we do kind of special events for the community quite often. So next week we're doing a sip and paint or whatever. What are we calling it?
Paint and sip.
Paint and sip.
Yeah.
So we have
You're
events like that.
I really don't want to do this, but okay.
That's his thing. I'm
Let's do it.
and then what are we doing in Paris?
You've got the night in Paris on June 26th.
Yeah, so we're doing a night in Paris, and it's an outdoor.
When is that? When is June 26th?
It's a Thursday.
Oh, yeah. Dang it.
I know, right? So it's going to be an outdoor themed event under the stars, and it's everything Parisian. So all of anything that we're serving that night is going to be imported from Paris, even down to the butter.
I may have to make my way up here now for that one.
Yeah, so we've got that event. We're going to do an apiary event. So we'll partner with a local honey provider that does bees out here, and so it'll be everything. All of our entrees, any of our food is going to be honey inspired, and it'll have that in it. So we're doing these special themes that you just don't get very often or anywhere really.
And one of the things the community was missing when we started with the Chamber of Commerce and started actually saying what we were doing a year and a half into this project, we learned there was a huge demand for farmers markets. And coming from Fort Worth, we were used to going to the Clear Fork Farmers Market all the time, or going to Dallas Farmers Market, and there isn't one out here. So our second weekend being open, we held a farmers market, and we had record attendance. We had 500 guests, easily 500 guests in a 4-hour period. And all of our vendors that came, there's 12 vendors here, all with the exception of, I think, one, completely sold out. So we're holding another one of those on June 28th on a Saturday in a 4-hour period, and we bring in a food truck that day. So Cousins Maine Lobsters are going to join us. So can't complain when there's lobsters here.
Man, you can't complain at all. They're fixing to be everywhere because actually they're going to be at Landon, their second location in Grapevine as well. Yeah. Like literally that same week.
Yeah, they do a great job, and they're super helpful and supportive. But we do the community events that we did. We did a fundraiser at that farmers market for the local fire departments out here who are self-funded.
And they've saved us several times.
Yeah, and the dry
fires
season.
out here are crazy.
Should we talk about that? No.
Yes.
Well, we saw someone dragging a chain down our road, and it sparked 13 fires on this road right out here during the dry season. So it was scary.
Yeah.
The fire department saved all of these properties quickly, so us included. So that was important to us to do that, and we'll be doing that again. But we saw just the demand from the community to do farmers markets and do things, to have the community showcase the things they do. And you don't realize how many small businesses are out here. So we'll be doing another one of those, and I'm excited for that because just the turnout and the support from the community. That day isn't about selling wine, even though we sell a lot of wine. It's not about selling wine.
It's okay.
More about the community.
Yeah,
But we sell wine.
It's also kind of our gift to Breckenridge and the community because we give our space out here for free to the vendors. So we have 12 or 15 vendors, and every one of them asked us, well, what do you charge for us to be there? And we said, nothing. Like, we want you to come out here, and this is our gift to you for helping us, right? So,
Although just don't sell wine. That was the rule.
Don't sell wine, because we got that
wine.
covered. But
We got you there. They all agreed.
Well, I want to tell you the one word I heard this whole conversation with y'all is one word that y'all kept saying over and over and over again is community. And unfortunately, coming from the Metroplex, that is not a word that's used out there. It's communism. I mean,
Yeah, it's true.
but I mean, y'all came out here, y'all saw something special in this land, y'all built something amazing out here, and then y'all brought the community together. And I like that, and I appreciate what y'all do, because that's what these small towns are missing, is this that one little spark that helps bring everybody together. And y'all did a good job at that.
Thank you.
So congratulations on
We
that.
got to keep it going.
Yeah, and we don't have any family out here. I said before he's a Yankee. You can cut that out of the record if you want to.
It stays in there.
He's from upstate New York. At least he's upstate New York. But so he doesn't have any family here. I've got a couple cousins here in Breckenridge, but other than that, we don't really know a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so we wanted to kind of have a family out here. And a lot of our repeat people that come out here and spend hours and hours with us, they have become our friends and family, and our biggest supporters, and we hug up on them every time they come out. So it's really nice to have that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so tell everybody. Anything else? You got any topics? I mean, y'all hit quite a bit of good stuff here, and y'all actually got me kind of emotional over here, because y'all did such a good job of this.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, anything else y'all want to talk about? I mean, this is y'all's show. This is y'all's episode. This is about y'all's time to shine.
I think we've covered everything at this point.
Yeah, I think this project for us was kind of a big step in us. This is going to be cheesy, but reconfiguring our happy.
There's no such thing as cheesy.
Yeah, because our lives have been so overtaxed by our jobs that are really demanding, that require us to be there 20 hours a day and are kind of thankless, that sort of stuff. So that's actually why this happened, because we wanted to reconfigure our happy and make our life what we wanted to be outside of like a corporate bubble,
right?
And so that's what we're working on.
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, we were both we were at the point in our careers we were just unhappy. I traveled all the time, and it felt good to be able to say, hey, it's time that I'm going to quit my day job, and we're going to do this, and let's run this. So,
Right.
And that time has come. I'm close to that point. So it's really nice to be able to switch and also focus on our happy too. Right?
Right.
We care about the community. Of course, we care about out here. We care about the wine. But it was about our happiness too, what we want to do, and we're controlling our own destiny.
Right.
It's interesting because we're both business owners and we fight frequently over decisions.
We disagree. That's
Disagree.
all we
Yeah,
do.
disagree sounds so much better than fight. Because
Right.
fight sounds like you bring out the fist and the chains and the
Right.
brass knuckles.
It's only happened one. No. But we do have disagreements, but it's in good taste because it's the decisions that we're making,
Uh-huh.
and we're excited to do that stuff. So we had to make the decision to close early last week because we cared about our staff getting home for the weather. There was bad storms coming through, and there was a tornado that hit over in Albany.
Right.
And so we sent our staff home, and we had a couple guests who called, I think,
They-
an hour after we closed, really upset. And my response was, I'm sorry, I care about my staff's safety more than I'm sorry. I apologize. I hope you come visit us, but I care more about my staff getting home early.
Yeah, and there was active tornadoes around, like
Right.
literally all around us. So it was, safety is obviously paramount here. So
Well, maybe they wanted to get drunk before their end of time.
I think that's what it was.
I actually was shocked with somebody being out there at the gate because the skies were crazy. It was hailing and wind sideways crazy, and they were sitting out there wanting to get in. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
They wanted that wine.
We
Hey,
appreciate that.
Again,
but-
they want to get drunk for their end of time.
Right,
That's
yeah,
true.
Yeah.
Well, again, DJ, crap, I just went blank on your name.
DR and Andrew.
DR and Andrew. Like, I literally went completely blank when I said that. I was like, crap, I just said something wrong.
Yeah, that's okay.
And I'm still sober.
Yeah.
So, where can people find y'all online and then actually find y'all's physical location here?
So you can go to Google, just put in a basic Google search CC Farms. It'll lead you right to us. It also gives you all of our special events that are coming up on that page. We're pretty heavily active on Facebook, Instagram, and we're getting into TikTok world pretty soon. So,
And we do
I
have a
know.
website that we do keep updated regularly, which is ccfarmstx.com.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So you can kind of peruse our website. All of our services are there. Our spa services are there. Our menu for the bistro is there. Anything that we do is all right there.
Nice. Now, currently, do y'all ship y'all's wine, or currently right now it's all available on site only?
You can. I'll let you answer that.
No. So here's why. So we don't yet, and we will be. Within the next 6 months, we will do online orders. The reason why is we're new.
Yep.
And I was petrified to go turn on online ordering and not knowing, because of course there's a harvest season, right? Not knowing how much we were going to go through at the winery, I did not want to sell out all of our wine. We do, our Tempranillo is our best seller, and I have concerns. It's a good concern, but I have concerns we may not make it to next harvest with the Tempranillo. So it's a good concern to have, of course, from a business side, but we will be. Over the next 6 months, we'll start doing some online sales and start shipping online, but not yet, because I want to see where we go over the next few months.
Yeah, I wouldn't go for online sales right yet. See how your stuff goes, and then get your next batch in, and then I would do that.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Got a friend over there. Yeah.
Kept buzz right in my eye.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you can find all the seasoning also online, too, and all the other stuff. Man, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
Man, it has been an actual amazing episode sitting here to talk with y'all.
Thank you.
And hearing y'all's story. Again, this is why I do this podcast. I want to hear your story, why you got into this. Because, again, we just didn't wake up one day and say, hey, I want to do a podcast on wine. Or, hey, I want to do a winery. Because obviously you wake up and you drink a whole bunch of wine, and then you said, I want to do a winery.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of wine involved.
But I tell you what we're going to do, we're going to take a small little break, okay? We're going to get up, stretch our feet a little bit, or stretch our legs a little bit. I have some little bit of education. In our education, we do like 10 or 15 minute little spot, okay? And we're just going to talk about the different styles of glasses that you can drink wine out of, and how it affects your wine drinking experience.
Sure.
Okay? Yeah. All right. So, folks, we're going to take a quick moment. We'll be right back in just a second.
Hi, this is Eric Beyer of Old Vine, Texas, a new winery tasting room featuring 100% Texas wines from wineries all over the state. We are located in Mansfield, Texas, inside of Ancora Event Center on Broad Street. We have weekly tastings, charcuterie board to enjoy, live music, and a new wine club. Go visit our website at oldvinetexas.com to sign up for our newsletter and learn more. Or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Old Vine, Texas. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back, everybody, to We Know Texas Vino. We are here at CC Farms and Winery and Venue Estate. Is that correct?
You got it.
Man, show's over with. We're done. Mic check. But we just had a great episode out here with these two gentlemen, and they've got something amazing going on here. If you have not heard of this place, or you've heard of it and you just haven't made it out here, come out here and do this. Spend a day out here, drink some wine, eat some good food out here, and just have a good time. But we always talk about education, and you know this show is all about learning and teaching everybody about wine. And so one of the things we talked about is glasses, and I wanted to cover this several times, but we just hadn't had the right moment, and I think this was a great time to do this. So, you know, we always talk about there's different glasses to drink wine out of. In fact, actually, I think I saw online there's like 130, 200 something glasses.
Sure.
There's an insane amount of glasses to drink wine out of, but most typical, you want to call them typical? Most normal wine drinkers only drink out of one, and that is the universal big bowl, small mouth wine glass. You know, maybe every once in a while you get the medium-sized bowl with the big mouth on it, but for the most part, it's always the big bowl because that's synopsis to wine drinking. You know, everybody sees that. When you watch a movie and you see somebody drinking wine, you see them out with the big bowl glasses and stuff. But, you know, so I thought about we did like a little quick part on wine glasses. So right now, since you have the glasses right in front of you, just show everybody what you've got right now. Go ahead. Yeah, you got it. I got you.
Okay.
So describe this glass right here.
So actually, when we were looking at glasses with 170 or whatever it was, different kinds, I got really annoyed trying to figure it out. So we wanted to go with a universal that you put a red and a white in.
Right.
So that's actually where we landed, was with the large bottom, large top, large mouth. But we wanted something that was universal, so we didn't have to switch between 8 different glasses while we were pouring. So
yeah, it gets annoying.
That's actually where we landed. Was we obviously wanted something that was, you know, nice on the eyes, look nice, clean, nice, but we also wanted it to be something that was universal for reds and whites.
Practical for that. Right. And then also we did kind of a swirl test too. So we ordered a bunch of different glasses, and we wanted to make sure that our wines are swirling around the glass and they look beautiful doing that.
Yeah.
And this one was the winner.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That, I mean, honestly, the glasses look really nice. I have not drank out of it yet, so I'm excited about doing that here in just a moment. Yeah. I mean, I've drank out of several different glasses, and each one is fascinating that you just taste something different every time you drink out of it. So I'm excited about doing that. But, I had to actually get some notes, okay, because there's so much different ways of drinking wine. So one of the things here is, again, we talked about this, typical wine glasses have a larger bowl and wider openings to allow for more aerations and the development of the complex aromas. Mm-hmm. That's for your red wines. Now, for your white wines, often have a narrow bowl to preserve the wine's crispness, maintain a cooler temperature. Okay, which is what we got right there.
Right.
And then this one I hear, and this is kind of funny because I get a lot of people on the fence about this one. Sparkling wines, okay? So typically you're supposed to drink them out of flutes or tulip-shaped glasses, okay? And they are designed to preserve the bubbles and direct the evanescence to your nose, which
makes sense.
Makes 100% sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I have a lot of people that come in and says, I don't like those. It doesn't keep my bubbles alive.
Oh, okay.
So I pour them in a regular white glass because, it's a white wine, you know. And then, of course, the dessert wines. Smaller glasses accentuate the richness and sweetness of dessert wines.
Right.
So, those are your typical glasses that everybody drinks out of. Now, we can go in much deeper details on this, but that is your basic ideas for your typical wine glasses. And so, when you go out to a winery, sometimes you'll see places that will have the multiple glasses on there, and feel free to ask because they'll a lot of times tell you what they're for. Mm-hmm. So, but folks, I really appreciate y'all having me come out here.
Well, thank you.
Real quick, I'm going to hit my sponsors. So first off, I already told you about this, and y'all need to sign up for this. Is the Texas Wine Lover app. Mm-hmm. Okay, it shows every winery in Texas, and it allows you to go and explore and find new Texas wines, like CC Farms out here. See that plug I just did there? But you can go out there and you could actually filter out what you're specifically looking for. If you're looking for a dining experience, if you're looking for a bistro, if you're looking for a great Tempranillo, if you're looking for an Airbnb, it has all kinds of filters out there. It's a great app, and I push everybody that comes in my tasting room to it. So it's you download it, check it out. You'll see why we like it so much. Sure. And then of course one of my other favorite sponsors is a friend of mine down in Mansfield. He has a place called Old Vine, Texas. Mm-hmm. And so he brings a lot of the hill country wines that a lot of people don't want to drive 4 hours to go to drink wine. They want it brought up there to them. So he supplies that for them. So he has a nice little tasting room, and he brings the hill country charms to North Texas up there in Mansfield. So
that's awesome.
Old Vine, Texas. And then this one right here is my new one. This is one I actually kind of like, and I actually tested it, and it's true to word. But have y'all heard of High Camp Flask?
No.
Oh, you're going to want one of these, okay? So basically what it looks like an old Coleman thermos, okay? Both ends pull apart and make tumblers, okay? And then you pour a whole bottle of 750 milliliter bottle of wine inside of it, and it keeps it perfect temperature for 24 hours.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Now, when I hear that, I'm kind of like, I'm very much of a skeptical, okay? So we came out here one weekend to Possum Kingdom, and it was 90 degrees outside, and I kept that in the sun the whole time, okay? I wanted to see what this was like. So we got on the tailgate, we popped the tumblers off, unscrewed the top, and first off, you heard the pressure being released, okay? Right. And when we did that, we poured it in the tumblers, and let me tell you something. That glass of wine was still 70 degrees.
That's terrific.
That's great.
Yeah, that's great.
That is amazing. So that's a great little thing I have out there. And of course, if you want one, get out there and purchase you one. I can't say anything more about it. It's just a great little product.
It's great for the summer.
Oh yeah,
time of year.
Especially when it's hot and you need some wine.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right. Well, now we're coming to the close of the show, and this is where we do the best parts of the show is actually the wine quotes. Okay, and so when I look for wine quotes, I try to match for what I'm coming to do. And since we're new friends now, okay, so I thought we'd get some good, friendly wine quotes. So y'all ready?
Sure.
Ready.
All right. Great memories are made with good wine and good friends. Mm-hmm. Quick and easy, simple and just. And then the last one, living la vida vino.
I love that.
The minute I saw that, I said, I'm putting that on a tumbler.
Yeah, I like that.
So, awesome. Well, this is Will.
Andrew.
And DR.
And this is We Know Texas Vino. Cheers.